Hello, everyone. Okay, so hopefully, okay, microphone works. So, welcome back. This is going to be the second part of my tier list because the last one, it got so long. I talked for like an hour and I decided to cut that video short. So, I did the first half of her discography. I did from debut to 1989. And now this one is going to be it's going to be all the new vault tracks that we've gotten since then because that video was before Speak Now Taylor's version. So now I'm going to do this list is much more thorough. I found one that has not only the new vault tracks from Speak Now in 1989, but it also has like a lot of the random collaborations that she did and the Christmas songs and stuff that some of it I haven't even heard. So some of this stuff I'm going to have to stop and listen to, but I'll try to not ramble as much as I did last time. I was actually, before this, I was working on a video of Halsey's Hopeless Fountain Kingdom. I was working on breaking down that album and explaining the Romeo and Juliet story. But while I was working on it, my computer died. It was a 10-year-old computer, and it just finally died, and I lost all the progress that I had made on that video. And since I had already put like 20 hours into it, I just was like, fuck it, I'm not going to start over. So I don't expect that I'm ever going to restart that video and make it. So now that we have these vault songs, I'm just going to jump right in. So we're going to do anything that I haven't done before that's on this list. And then we're going to go from Reputation until Midnight's. Oh, I sound pretty hoarse now. I've had the flu for a couple weeks also, so that's sort of slowed down all my progress. So I have 5 tiers here. No, 6. My bad. So you can see I have top 13, which are my personal favorites. And you can see 9 of them have already been taken up by earlier stuff from her discography because I tend to be more of a fan of like her earlier and middle work rather than her more recent stuff. And then I have Wonderstruck, which are the really, really amazing songs that just didn't quite make my favorites. Breakable Heaven, which are again great songs, but maybe they have one or two things that could be improved upon. Nice, which is like I'll sing along to them. They're good, they're just not her best. I Forgot That You Existed. These are songs that are kind of meh to me, or I don't actively hate them, but I think they have a lot of flaws. And then The Worst of Crimes. These are the songs that, like, she should not have written it. Like, the very idea of the song and the execution, it just should never have come to be. Let's start here. And then let's add on to what's already here. So first, down here they have Beautiful Eyes and I Heart question mark, which I've listened to some, although I've kind of been waiting for debut Taylor's version to really because I expect those songs will be on there. But for today, from what I remember, Beautiful Eyes, I would put in like, it's one of those songs that I can't remember the hook. Like, I could not sing it for you right now, but I remember liking it ish. So I'll put it in like top of nice tier, maybe around here, maybe kind of around the same area as like Bad Blood and I Knew You Were Trouble. I Heart question mark. That one I don't think I like as much. It's fun, but but it's very basic, not very interesting. Somewhere around here, I guess. Okay, next we have the two Christmas songs. I haven't listened to those. I'm not a Christmas music person, so I guess we'll leave those for later. Crazier. I really like this. I'm hoping that it'll be a vault track on debut Taylor's version. But it came out in 2009, so it really should have been on Fearless. It should have been a vault there, but since it's not, maybe she's not going to do it. It kind of worries me, but I actually think it's kind of underrated. I'll put it like somewhere around here, maybe. Okay, Electric Touch, I think probably the weakest. Speak Now Vault. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, it's kind of boring. It's the guitars are very muddled. I remember when I first listened to it, I was like, are my headphones broken? And Patrick Stump's vocals sound very flat. Like I know he I listened to Fall Out Boy. He's a very kind of dynamic singer with a unique voice. Like when I hear some random, he does voice work for TV shows and stuff, and when I hear it, I know that it's him before I even have to Google it. I'm like, that's Patrick Stump. But this song, I feel like, doesn't have much of his kind of unique tone. So I'll put it in like bottom of nice tier, like somewhere around here, maybe. When Emma Falls in Love, it's fine, it's cute, somewhere around here. Maybe, yeah. I Can See You, very popular one. I like that better, of course. It's still not an extremely strong hook like I'd come to expect from Speak Now, but it's one where the production actually works. It's very funky. So this will go somewhere in Breakable Heaven, like Castles Crumbling. This is my favorite of the Speak Now vaults. When we first saw that it was going to be on there, I was really hoping that it would be awesome, and it is. I think what really makes this song is the production. Jack Antonoff, it doesn't really sound like his typical style, but he did this so well. It sounds like that kind of fantasy, like the strings, they almost sound like lutes. Like you can visualize the castle, right? And you can visualize this kind of magical whatever, and I think this is going to go maybe not quite into Wonderstruck, but up there. Around here, maybe. Foolish One, again, it's okay, or it's good. I don't have a whole lot to say about it. Has a decent hook, maybe like around here. Where am I? Timeless. It's so, it's her unique kind of cringe that she was doing, especially in her early days, but melodically it's strong. It's got a good hook. Somewhere in this tier, but not like all the way down there. Maybe around the same spot as When Emma Falls in Love. So yeah, that's the Speak Now vault. Speak Now is maybe my favorite album. So when I heard the vault tracks, I was honestly pretty disappointed. I can see why they didn't make the album, and the 14 songs that did. I think the ones that made the cut are the better songs. And the vaults, they don't fit as well, I think. They don't have that confessional, like, directly written for someone to someone, except maybe like Electric Touch and I Can See You. Those were probably Taylor writing an open letter to somebody, so I can understand why it was left off. Right, next, Two is Better Than One. I like this. I actually really love Boys Like Girls. I just saw them live a couple weeks ago, and he played this as like the finale song. It's a little bit sleepy. I think between the two songs they wrote together, If This Was a Movie is a much better song, but this one's all right. So I'll put it maybe in nice. I remember when it would come on the radio and I was like, cool, he's doing a song with Taylor Swift. Let me think about this. Oh God, my brain is not working today. I'm still a little bit sick here. I feel like I'm putting everything down here because some of these songs, there's kind of a drop off in quality around this, to me, this part of the tier. Both of Us, the B.O.B. collaboration. Let me go listen to that because I've heard it. I've heard it a couple times. Guys, remember when B.O.B. was like the next hot thing? I've heard it a couple times, but not. Yeah, this is during the time when like B.O.B. was collaborating with pop stars. When your money's all gone and you lose your whip, you might lose your grip. I'm just asking, what's the pattern? Wish I was someday I will I can feel your pain. I can feel your Yeah, okay, that it was like two different songs. I don't think that they were a good pair for a collaboration. I know it was 2012 and everything was dubstep, but like the drop part of it is, I think, pretty weak. It doesn't make you go like, fuck yeah. So that's gonna go in like, I forgot that you existed, because again, I had heard it and I needed to refresh myself on it. So I guess I'll put it like down here. Hey Steven, my problem is the lyrics. I would have put it in the worst of crimes, except the music rescues it. Okay, next is the 1989 vault. And this is similar to the Speak Now vault, where there was like two songs that I liked, and the rest were pretty disappointing. And overall, like she said, this was her favorite vault. And when I heard the tracks, I was like, why is this your favorite? They just don't, I think a lot of them lack the energy and the over the top amazingness of the main 1989 songs. So a lot of people say that they sound like Midnight's outtakes. I think some of them do, but I can still tell. I'm reasonably confident that they were written back 10 years ago and not written in the Midnight's era. I think they are really, truly from the vault. Slut, this one, people thought it was going to be like upbeat, and it isn't. I'm going to put it in the nice tier. I have not heard the acoustic version yet. That's like the latest thing that she dropped. I think Electric Touch is better. So, lyrics are better than A Perfectly Good Heart, but it does not have as strong a melody. Say Don't Go. This is one of the two that I like. Upon sort of looking at what people said, the melody is good, and that makes up for the fact that the lyrics are kind of basic. So I'm going to put maybe like around here. Now that we don't talk, this one, I can understand why people think it's like a midnight song because it's so short. It maybe was a song that she hadn't finished, and then she decided not to finish it because the trend now is, 2-minute TikTok songs. It is, it's got funny lines, but I don't think it's as strong as some of the other stuff in here. So maybe around here. But how is it compared to I Wish You Would? I'm just going to leave things where they are because I don't want this video to stretch into 2 hours. Yeah, we have so much to get through. Suburban Legends, ugh, just a nothing song. Not like a crime, not all the way, it doesn't belong all the way down here, but I don't understand. It's just a nothing song. Is It Over Now? Probably the strongest vault track. When I heard that she was making it a single, I was like, okay, well, at least it's better than Slut, which is the one that she originally chose as a single. I don't know if it really sounds like a radio song, but it's good. So I put it like somewhere around here, maybe. Sweeter Than Fiction, I don't know why this wasn't on the original tier list that I was using. Sweeter Than Fiction, I like this. God, I sound so fucking hoarse. It's very catchy. Bad Blood with Kendrick Lamar, whatever. I quite like the original Bad Blood. I really can't say if his verses add to it or not. I do think in the original Bad Blood, the verses are kind of the weaker part of it compared to the chorus. So with his verses, maybe it would go like right here. I really don't know. I kind of want to not rank that one, but I'm trying to rank everything. I Don't Want to Live Forever. Okay. I absolutely love Zayn. I think that he's like one of the best male vocalists, as far as like A tier household names. But this song was a little weird. I feel like it didn't show off either of their skills very well. So I'm going to put it in Forgot That You Existed. I remember when it was big on the radio, and it was during this time when that song and then the Reputation songs that were on the radio, I found them quite boring. I was not actively listening to Taylor at the time, and whenever one of those songs would come on, I would be like, yeah, this is not as exciting as the Speak Now, Red era Taylor Swift that I really loved. Ready for it? Okay, so now we're getting into Reputation. I know Reputation is a very polarizing album. I like it overall, but it's not my favorite. So you'll kind of see these ratings are going to be they're going to fall into the middle with one exception. Ready for It is fine. It's amazing on the tour. It's maybe somewhere around here. Endgame. I don't think it's cringe that like everybody's rapping on this song. Ed Sheeran has always been a very sort of wordy, quasi-rapping artist, even with acoustic guitar. I find it a little bland actually. I know some people think this is like the worst song she's ever written and Reputation is her worst album because Endgame is on it. I don't hate it though. It's fine. Sometimes it's a skip. Future is completely unnecessary but doesn't ruin it. So like somewhere around here. I Did Something Bad. Very fun. Awesome bridge. I think because a lot of people hate Look What You Made Me Do, this could have been like the other option for like a lead single, but Look What You Made Me Do was a very important and necessary statement as a single. Somewhere around here. Don't Blame Me. I think this is a song that it is good, but it got a little bit inflated or overrated. Like, other than the bridge, it's pretty unremarkable. She's serving vocals, and that's why people like it. Ooh, was hard. Probably at about the same place, though. But or does it belong maybe more up here? Is it better than Cold as You? Yeah, or somewhere in the middle of this Breakable Heaven tier. Delicate. Again, this was the one that was on the radio all the time, I remember, and I found it super boring. Having listened to it more, I can appreciate it a little more, but I still think, as track fives go, it's pretty unremarkable. The vocal effects, though, like the vocoder, it's cool. It's well produced, but it's not going. I guess it can go above Endgame, but like, Look What You Made Me Do. Oh boy. So when I first heard this song, to me, it didn't, and it still doesn't sound like music. The backing instrumentation is almost non existent. There's not much music or melody to speak of. She's talking through it more than singing, and I really didn't like that. But as like the video and kind of again, I said the statement of it is very important. And the, because it has, because it's this very kind of empty song. I mean, sonically empty. It's a lot of silence and very soft, minimal instrumentation. Because of that, the tour version where they give it guitars is fucking incredible. So I'm gonna put it in like, I can't put it in Forgot That You Existed, so I'll put it in like nice. Probably like here if I'm just judging the song itself, the melody. But I can't imagine her career path or the Reputation album without it. So it goes. One of those songs that was kind of forgettable to me at first. Like back a year ago, I probably would have put it in I Forgot That You Existed, but now it's better. It's going to go in nice. I just don't know. Probably around here. Okay. Gorgeous. This song, it's fun. It's nice to have like a fun moment on Reputation that's not so dark. Also, I think the production is fun because it sounds drunk. Like melodically, it's not super strong, but it probably belongs somewhere around the same, in the same area as Delicate, and I Wish You Would. Okay, Getaway Car. This is going straight into my top 13. I think the production on this, I mean, the lyrics really carry this story and this metaphor well, but the production on it is one of her best songs that Jack has ever done. It's so thrilling and exciting, and you can hear the rims spinning on the car. And this is one of those songs that I genuinely never get tired of. Like, I could listen to it 50 billion times, and it's still as exhilarating as the first time I heard it. These top 13 songs, by the way, are not in any particular order. It's not like I think Fearless is better than these ones. They're just in the album order because my top 13 is not in any particular order. King of My Heart, it's fine. It gets a little annoying. The drums are cool. So it's gonna go around there. Actually, I think Speak Now, the song, is more of a bop. Dancing with Our Hands Tied, I think a lot of people feel the way I do about it, which is like when you just hear this version, the album version, it's very unremarkable. I didn't like it. But then hearing the acoustic version on the Rep tour that really brings out the lyrics. The lyrics are great. It's one of her most vulnerable, most romantic songs, I think. And I wish we had like an acoustic version because it seems like they're recording all the surprise songs on the Eras tour. I really hope that we get all the surprise songs and we get this on the guitar. So as it is, maybe about here. And if it were the acoustic version, it would be like way up here. Dress. Some people think this is like one of her best songs ever. I don't. I think it's very overrated. It's not super bad, like the background keyboards sound good, but the chorus or her vocals, the way she's doing that very high pitched panting, like it's super repetitive, and I don't mean in a way that it has like a verse chorus. I mean like it's difficult to describe, but I think the song, I think it's overrated, and people say that it's sexy, but like sexy is not really Taylor's wheelhouse. Even when she's trying to be sexy, like other pop girls can do sexy better. So maybe it's down here, kind of in around the same. Again, it's hard to exactly place, but I wanted to put it in the worst of crimes, like when I was first doing the first part of this list, but then I listened to it again and I was like, it's not that bad. It's just there, I guess. This is why we can't have nice things. I think this song is so fun. Like, yeah, a lot of people find it annoying, but it's very sing-alongable. So maybe like here. Call It What You Want. Pretty nice. Nice to have, like I said, a kind of softer moment on this album. Probably, yeah, probably around the same. Actually, I like it better than Babe. Maybe like there. New Year's Day, really like it. Totally different to everything else on the album, but it's a very good ending. It's really nice as far as wrapping up the story of the album because this is a falling in love story. Reputation is many things, but this is a nice conclusion. It helps bridge between Rep and Lover. So I'm going to put it like, and the live version is awesome, of course. Maybe like right there. Okay, now we're going to Lover. Oh, actually, the cover of Earth, Wind, and Fire September is on here. I'm not even gonna rank that. Whatever. I forgot that you existed. It's fun. I really like the production throughout Lover, the kind of light sound that everything has. It's catchy. It's just not very sophisticated. Gonna go somewhere around here. Cruel Summer, or Curel Summer, as this person typed it. Straight into my top 13. I don't think I even need to say why. The song is thrilling. Lover, the song. This is another song that like I remember being on the radio all the time and I was like, this is kind of boring. But hearing it more, it's a little better, like I think compared to the songs on Reputation that I thought were boring, it's better than those. So let's put it in like Breakable Heaven maybe, but where? Maybe like here. The Man. Again, another well produced song. A lot of people don't like it, but message aside, like the fact that it doesn't fit super well with the themes of the album, it sounds good. It is pleasing to listen to. Okay, The Archer. I do find this song boring, and the reason for that, I know there's like a lot of people who like the lyrics mean the world to them and it's hyper relatable, but this isn't a song that builds. It's a song that kind of stays at this same kind of hum throughout. That's the way I feel about some of the Midnight songs too. Good idea, but very flat execution. So, but the bridge, I mean, the lyrics on the bridge are wonderful. I'll put it like around here. What's that song? I Wish You Would. Something about the same level. I Think He Knows. One of the better songs on Lover for me. Really excellent production. The bass is just great. Somewhere around here. Miss Americana. It was sort of forgettable or a skip to me until she gave it a very prominent place on the tour, and then I was like, oh, this is kind of awesome. So the production, I think, is a bit much. It's a bit muddled, a bit overproduced. Maybe around here. Paper Rings. I just went to a wedding over the summer where the couple, like their grand entrance, they walked into this song. It's cute. It's very fun and upbeat. I know some people think that it's annoying. It's like excessively peppy. It's like arguably her most upbeat song, right? That makes it kind of annoying, like a real earworm. Here. But the lyrics are great, I think. Cornelia Street, a classic, a beloved, very emotional. It's gonna go up pretty high here. Maybe it'll go into Wonderstruck here. Yeah, it's definitely top five. You know, Lover is an album that I think is too long and needs some cuts, but it also has very, very highs. Death by a Thousand Cuts, similar to Cornelia Street, a classic. Although I think though Cornelia Street, the issue is the production. Again, I'd say I feel Cornelia Street is a bit overproduced. I like the Live in Paris version better, whereas Death by a Thousand Cuts, I think it has more elements in the sound and it's kind of frantic sounding, and that makes more sense. The bridge is wonderful, of course. So I'm trying to decide here, like, where, these two, where in this kind of area I put them, but I'll just leave them like that for now. London Boy. Okay, I have so many things to say about this song. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but I bet you a significant portion of it is coming right now, me talking about London Boy. First off, it's going here. I believe it is her worst song in her entire catalog. The production is actually good, but the lyrics are inexcusable, and I'm going to tell you why. People say that it's fun, it's campy, but I think it doesn't belong on Lover because it's lacking. Lover, a lot of Taylor's albums seem to be one thing, but they really are about another thing. For example, Fearless seems like an album about young love and crushes and fairy tales, but it actually is a subversion and a deconstruction of those fairy tales. Reputation seems like it's a bad bitch album about, revenge and snapping back at the people who wronged me, but it's really an album about falling in love during a vulnerable time. Lover seems like it's this happy, sunshine and rainbows, I'm more in love than I've ever been in my life kind of romantic album. And it is, but it is also an album about anxiety. And every single one of the songs on Lover carries some level of anxiety. Of course, you have Cornelia Street, where she's like, I hope I never lose you. You have songs like Cruel Summer, I don't want to keep secrets just to keep you. All of the best songs on Lover have this kind of anxious thread running through them where it's like, yes, I'm in love, but what if it doesn't work out, right? Or what if my anxiety ruins everything? London Boy carries no thread of anxiety. It is just a crush song, and that's why it doesn't belong here. It doesn't add any depth to the themes of the album. It doesn't build on this idea of kind of the dark side or the anxious side of love. Even songs like Me is like another goofy bubblegum song, but it has lines like, I know that I'm a psycho baby. I know I never look before I leap. Like, that's also a song about her insecurities, or like, oh, I know that I'm the difficult one in this relationship. London Boy doesn't have that. It's just a like, I love my London Boy. There's no depth to it. And, as I've told you, I don't like songs that rely on gimmicks and puns and whatnot and stupid accents. I think London Boy is a song that she could have written it and given it away to another artist like maybe Meghan Trainor, or somebody could have done a better job with a song like London Boy, but like, this is not showcasing. We know that Taylor Swift is the songwriter of a generation, and this is beneath her, which is the same way I feel about Shake It Off. But Shake It Off at least follows the themes of 1989 of the like, I'm a single girl and I'm not worried about boys and I'm going to do what I want and haters going to hate. At least Shake It Off follows the thread and contributes to the story, and London Boy does not. So there you go. If you like it, she has 200 other incredible songs. You can like it, but if there's all these other incredible songs to choose from and you stan her dumbest song, what does that say about you? Soon You'll Get Better is, I guess this is one that we don't rank, right? It's beautiful, very sad. False God, this is so fun. Completely unlike anything else in her discography. It's cool. I think it does, because as I've said, I don't think sexy songs are her strong point, but I think it does it a little better than Dress does. Maybe when she did the piano version. It's a little slow though, I've said I think the extremely slow songs have to work a little harder to get my attention, and this one sometimes it gets there, sometimes it doesn't. So I was saying on the Eras tour, she did that piano version and that was cool, but it seemed like she was so angry. She was like banging and growling through the song False God, which I think was funny. You Need to Calm Down. I remember when I first heard this song on the radio, and I had the same reaction as I did to Look What You Made Me Do, which is like, what the hell is this? This is not music, because music is supposed to have a melody. In hindsight, I think it's a little better, but still it's very, the video looks fun, but like it was misguided as far as the way that she went about this. Again, not a unique Taylor Swift generational talent level of writing, but it's fun. It's going underneath Look What You Made Me Do. I think Look What You Made Me Do works better, but see, these songs have a melody, and You Need to Calm Down is very, very weak on the melody. So maybe here? People are gonna like bite my head off if I put this above Sad, Beautiful, Tragic. So maybe like around here. I keep going back to Soon You'll Get Better. I have to remember to ignore that. Afterglow. By this point, this is the point where like the album's getting really long, and it's a great song to show the theme of the anxiety, right? The problems in this relationship, or how the problems in her head, right, lead can there's cracks in the relationship. Musically, again, I think it's very slow, forgettable. I couldn't hum it for you. I don't think I sort of could. It's going and I Forgot That You Existed. Somewhere around there, I guess. Me. Look, I don't hate this as much as some other people do. I think it does belong on the album, and I explained why, because it's about her insecurity. It deserves to be there more than London Boy does. It's gonna go in nice, I just have to decide where. I think also the music video is really fun, like the aesthetic of it. I love bright pastel colors. Brendan Urie is a great vocalist as well. He and Zayn are some of our best male singers right now. I grew up listening to Panic at the Disco, so even though Panic at the Disco is not what it was, I think he was a good choice for feature, him wearing like all the pink flowery suits and the stuff that he did. In the music video, he had a fever of 104, and he still showed up to film the music video, so that's admirable. I think he was a good partner for her. I heard it at a wedding and I was like, sure, I'll dance to this. Again, people are gonna like try to get my channel shut down if I put it too high. Maybe around here. When she does it as an inevitable piano surprise song, I think people are going to realize that the bones of the song are fine. It's just as a lead single, I understand the objection to like, let's pivot as far away from Reputation as we possibly can. It's nice to have a friend. Another very unique song, the spooky children's choir, the steel drums, doesn't sound like anything else. And I like the way it tells a story. It's kind of like Mary's song, the grown-up version. So let's put it in. But I don't listen to it a lot because it is a certain vibe that I'm always in the mood for, but I think it's well done. So maybe here. Daylight. I really love this. I know most people do. For me, especially the piano, the live in Paris version, that one's good. I think her like long monologue in this version where she talks through, you are what you love. I think that was unnecessary, but the rest of the song, the verses especially, are beautiful. It's a good ending. I don't think it quite goes into Wonderstruck because again, that spoken word part at the end is completely unnecessary. But, it's top half of the album, as you can see where I'm putting it. So maybe like around here. Here-ish. And we are pushing on an hour here. All of the girls you loved before. It's meh to me. I remember when there was a leak of this and the song called Need. I think Need is much better and should have been on the main track list. All the girls you loved before. It does suit the album because it has that thread of anxiety, right? It's like, oh God, well, what if you've been in love before? There's all these girls in your past, but it's sweet. It makes its peace. It's an interesting idea for a song. It's sort of like Ariana, Thank You Next. That song obviously is not about her ex's ex-girlfriend, but it kind of has that similar, like the idea of being grateful for past relationships as opposed to, being jealous. Okay, down there, I guess, because I think Electric Touch is a little more exciting. Beautiful Ghosts. Again, this is one that, like, I've listened to it, but I cannot remember it, so let's do that now. Let's go to the YouTube. You're not going to be able to see this on my screen, but I definitely love the idea of her writing a musical theater. Cats aside, I'm looking forward to the Taylor Swift musical one day. She's dead. I remember this being good, just, not her typical style. Also, as a theater kid, I do not love Andrew Lloyd Webber. I much prefer Sondheim and Stephen Schwartz. I do not like Phantom of the Opera. Fake British accent. Another reason I don't like London Boy, the fake British accent. I know where I'm only recording part of my screen, so what you see is going to be cut off. So that's kind of the refrain. Yeah, it's pretty, not super exciting. She'll write a great musical one day. Next, Christmas Tree Farm. It's so funny. I hear this one on the radio around Christmas time when I'm like at the grocery store or whatever. It's fine. I think, didn't I just say earlier that I'm not going to do Christmas music? I think people give her a lot of shit about her upbringing, that she's upper middle class and she had a big house, and people think that that means that she doesn't deserve her success or that she's really talented. Like, no, yeah, she had a dad who was able to invest a lot of money in getting her started. Like, her songwriting ability is not something you can buy. There's plenty of rich celebrity, nepo baby, whatever you call it, that have tried to have a music career and didn't have the longevity that Taylor has. So, anyway, I know that's a criticism of Christmas Tree Farm. It's like, she doesn't really grow up on a Christmas tree farm, but I think by nature, Christmas songs, they're not as like truthful and confessional. They are a bit more fantastical or embellished than most of Taylor's songs typically are. So I don't really mind. Let's listen to
be free and
just the
flexible and
lyrics.
creative was
I'm gonna re-listen because it's again right now it's November. It's been like a year since I've heard this.
winter nights are taken up by static. And my heart is a Christmas tree farm where the people will
I just
come to dance under
I said it's good. Now that I'm hearing it again, I have a visceral recoil from songs that sound like this. Um, Maybe I wasn't hearing it clearly because hearing it in public, you don't hear all the production details. Like, if I didn't know that that was Taylor Swift, I wouldn't know. There's no marks of her. The Christmasness of it kind of saps out all of the Taylor Swiftness of it, and that's probably true of any artist. So let's put this in. I'm not going to put it in a crime. It's not a crime for her to want to do a Christmas song. A lot of my favorite artists have done Christmas songs or Christmas albums, and I just kind of try to ignore them. They're usually pretty easy to ignore. But Christmas Tree Farm was actually kind of a radio hit last year, so I'll put this in. I forgot that you existed. It doesn't even matter the rank. It's not full of stupid puns the way that Hey Stephen is, so it's going to go above that. Okay, now we're getting into folklore. I like folklore a lot more. I think when I first listened to folklore and Evermore, I kind of leaned liking Evermore now, but having been to the Eras tour and just had more time with them, I think folklore is maybe a better, more consistent album. It has maybe one or two skip songs, but they come very, very late in the album. Overall, I like my music as a little more hooky and exciting than folklore and Evermore were, but over time, especially when I play them very loud, I can appreciate the great songwriting. The One. So, I know there's people who would do this tier list and like all of their top 13 songs would be from Folklore and Evermore. That is not me, as you can see, but there will be a folklore song up there. The One, let's go. Most of the songs on Folklore will go into Breakable Heaven. It's nice. It's a good opening. I didn't listen to Folklore during the pandemic when it first came out, but I can imagine that first piano, that clean piano note that opens it is like, if you were trapped in your house during the pandemic summer, that must have been like such a breath of fresh air hearing that first note. I'm like, whoa, total reset from Lover. Cardigan. I mean, these lyrics are next level. And the fact that she wrote it in like 20 minutes, Aaron Dessner sent her the instrumentals and then she just right away. This goes Wonderstruck because I think it's just outstanding lyrics. I'm sad that it wasn't in the movie, the tour movie. Somewhere around here. God, I'm fucking hungry. I didn't want this video to be an hour, and here we are. I just crossed the 1 hour mark, but when I edit it down, hopefully it won't be an hour for you guys. Oh, I forgot Only the Young. Yeah, okay. Before we move on to folklore, Only the Young is fine, guys. I don't know why people shit on it. I think the production is interesting. The percussion with like the kind of, I don't know what to call it, like the rattling noises and she was trying to do a political song. I know that, people objected to, they didn't like any of those kinds of songs. They didn't like You Need to Calm Down. They didn't like The Man, but I think Only the Young is perfectly acceptable. It has a sweet, I don't know if sweet is a word, but it has a nice, pleasant hook. Let me put it around the same level as Bad Blood. Her vocals sound good on it. Underrated. Not like her best ever, but it's fine. I don't make playlists like when, I know some people make a playlist where like they redo the whole album and they only listen to that. I don't do that, but for Lover, I could see myself doing that, where it's like a 14 or 15 track album. And it would have Need on it. It would have Need on it instead of London Boy. Okay, next, Last Great American Dynasty. Melodically not the most interesting, but, great storytelling, drawing a parallel between, this person who lived decades ago and herself. On the tour, your dad who got dragged along as a chaperone, that's a good chunk of the audience is those kinds of people, and they are not going to be able to appreciate this song in a live environment. But the song itself is great, so just studio wise, maybe like here. Okay, next is Exile. Amazing. One of the stronger songs on folklore, I think. And you know, that's saying something. It's just so moody and dark, and that it's a perfect duet. Bon Iver, right? Is that who it is? Yeah, he sounds great. That's the thing, is I can't tell the difference between Bon Iver and Justin Vernon voice-wise. Or is Bon Iver is Justin Vernon? Who's the guy from The National? See, I know which song is who, but the voices sound the same to me. Better than State of Grace acoustic. So funny. People compare it to The Last Time. Obviously, I can tell the similarities, but to me, like, they don't sound the same. My Tears Ricochet. This is so I post a lot on the Taylor Swift Reddit, and never do I get more downvotes. Like, my most unpopular opinion. I'm a person who gets a lot of controversial, like, I get downvoted a lot. And my least popular opinion, the one that will get me blasted more than any other, is that I think My Tears Ricochet is overrated. It's not top 13 material. It's very good because it's Taylor, and it's Taylor on folklore, and she didn't put a bad song on folklore. It's solid, but I think it's a little boring. Like, I'm still going to put it in like Breakable Heaven. You know, it took me many, many listens before I could get the melody. Like, I'll put it with the one. Like, I think the lyrics are great. It's just, as a listen, you know, as a track five, because it's so soft and understated, I think it's kind of underproduced. You know, this is one of those songs where it should be loud. Like the line in the bridge where she says, I'm screaming at the sky. In the studio recording, she is not screaming. Her vocals are too soft. So that's why the live version, you know, it helps there because she really is screaming. But I guess it's the melody and the production that leaves me thinking, you know, it's just not big enough. This is a song about the greatest pain and the greatest hurt and the greatest betrayal that she's ever experienced, and it just needs more. Folklore has a lot of understated mellow songs, but this, it just needs more. It's just a little too soft. Mirror Ball. Sorry, I rambled about My Tears Ricochet. I promise I really do like it. It's just, it's like it's one of those songs where if you don't put it in your top five, then people are like, what's wrong with you? It would be probably in my top 50, but not in my top five. Mirror Ball, really good. Love it. I think this is one where the production, people call this an upbeat song. And I'm like, what are you smoking? There are no upbeat songs on folklore. But the kind of shimmery sound of the guitars works perfectly. It's going somewhere around here, but like this. Very good. Seven. Sorry, I'm getting really hungry, and so the rumbling is like stopping me as I record this. Seven, another good one, not an outstanding standout, but you know, again, the whole first two-thirds of folklore, you know, are those are no skips. Very consistent about here. My thing with White Horse too, I feel like White Horse has a strong melody and it's just not loud enough, and the mixing is just too soft. Somewhere around here. August, this is my top 13 song of folklore. That's very personal to me. This song reminds me of something that I went through, and it wasn't like I dated a guy who had another girlfriend. It wasn't that kind of situation. It actually, the lyrics can be applicable to, they're broader than you think, and they're more open for interpretation than you think. It's one of those songs where she talked about the love triangle, but if you didn't know about that, then you could interpret August in a lot of different ways. But I think it's just, I know a lot of people do love it. I know it's a fan favorite just because, again, it's like a slightly more, again, there are no, as far as I'm concerned, there are no up-tempo songs on folklore, but it's just a little bit more dramatic, engaging. You know, you can get it on the first listen rather than, I like songs that are big. I don't know how else to describe it. It has a, you know, it has a big chorus. I can remember it. Unlike a lot of songs on folklore, I didn't need to listen to it 20 times before I could tell the difference. It's unique among this track list. This is Me Trying, another good one, you know, very sad. Illicit Affairs. I love the rock version on the tour, but this version is great too. This has great lyrics too. I'm trying to rush through folklore because I don't have a whole lot to say about these songs specifically, other than they're consistent, they sound good, good songwriting. So a lot of these folklore songs kind of fall into this tier for me. Invisible String, another kind of more unique one that I liked. It was a standout the first few times I listened, and that I think that's the thing about folklore is you need to make your song stand out. If everything is just a slow piano ballad, I need something a little different, and Invisible String did give me that. Mad Woman, it's good, you know. The album does start to drag a little bit at this point, but it's cool to have a song about this. It's so difficult to compare it to these songs here because these are all like bops, and Mad Woman is not that. Even people who love it do not use the word bop to describe it. Maybe around here. Epiphany. I'm going to move the computer closer to me because I'm worried the microphone can't hear me. Epiphany, this is the one song that maybe is a skip, not because it's bad. I think it actually really does the metaphor really well of like grandfather seeing death in the war, paralleling with seeing death during the pandemic. I think that's executed very well. It's just melodically, it's quite boring. Betty, fun sing along again. It's got a little, the harmonica and the feel of it is unique enough. That's the thing about I think the three love triangle songs are some of the strongest songs on folklore because they are each unique. They have their own sound. Cardigan has that overwhelming lushness. August has that kind of dramatic nostalgicness, and Betty has like the harmonica and the kind of country sound to it. Betty's going. Also, she did a really good job at inhabiting, like, kind of changing her lyrical style, changing the language she used to sound like a teenage boy. So, would I put it around, maybe around here? Peace. Again, I like the theme that she's following. Peace and Mirror Ball are kind of the continuation of the lover, anxious, what if I can't make this relationship work kind of thread. So I like that it's existence, but the execution, it's pretty boring. Although that kind of, I don't know what to call it, the clicking, the tapping, that's unique. But like, I don't know if I could sing this song for you right now, even though I've listened to it many, many times. So maybe it'll go into like nice. Where were we? God, I sound so hoarse. I maybe should have waited to record this video, but I kind of have a break today. I had a good time to do it when nobody will bother me. Hoax. I. Oh, I don't. People who like this song, I just don't understand it. I think it's very boring and meh. The lyrics are interesting, but they're interesting because they're not really about anything, or they can be about. Again, it takes multiple listens. I guess I'll put it above Peace. The Lakes and the Lakes original version. I can never remember which one's the like orchestra version and which one's the more like electronic Jack Antonoff-y sounding version. I like the orchestra version better, but is that the original version? I forget. I like them. Very good song for the whole pandemic time in which it was created. I'll put it above those other ones, but not as high as. It's around the same level as Last Great American Dynasty. I would say folklore, the songs fall pretty neatly into their own kind of tiers. Oh, all the way down there. Okay, Evermore time. Again, I think when I first listened to folklore and Evermore, I liked Evermore better because it has more songs that are kind of upbeat, a little more catchy, but it also has more, I would say, weak points. It's not as consistent an album as folklore. So Willow is really fun. Let's do like top of nice tier, I guess. It's hard to rank them. Folklore and Evermore, they truly are kind of their own universe, and comparing them to the other albums is very difficult. Champagne Problems. It's kind of like My Tears Ricochet in that it's one that I always, at first I thought was overrated, but with time, I think the lyrics are great. With time, I kind of get it more now, and I think that it is better than My Tears Ricochet. It has more of a tune than, some of these songs. Maybe about there. Gold Rush. People seem to think the production on this is really exciting and interesting. I don't understand why people think that. I think it's also a soft, understated song, but it's okay. Better than Only the Young? Sure. I don't know. 'Tis the Damn Season? Fine. Tolerate it. There's a lot of thoughts swirling in my head right now, but I'm just the song itself is good. As far as track fives go, I even think My Tears Ricochet is better. Like I think it's an okay track five. No Body, No Crime. Definitely like top five on Evermore. I always thought I was just more fun and interesting and notable. It has a lot of personality. I'm sad that it was not in the tour movie, even though Haim was there when they filmed. Happiness, fine. Where did I put Peace? I mean, like, it's pretty, but in a very non hooky, forgettable way. Like, it's pleasant background music while you're listening to it, and you forget it instantly. But I do think it's a slightly more memorable than Peace. Dorothy. This is one that I liked. It was kind of a standout to me the first couple times I listened to Evermore, and then I listened more and more. It kind of fell. It drags. It has something resembling a hook, which is why I was drawn to it at first, but not anymore. Coney Island, weird song, fine. This is the National, right? I'm not sure that he adds much to it, but somewhere around here, I guess. Ivy. This is another song that like people were raving about it, and I was like, why is this such a fan favorite? I listened to it more. I get it a little more. I think it could have been a good live banger on the tour, but it's good again. Some songs benefit from being played loud. Maybe about here. I would say it's like top half. Cowboy Like Me, pretty but boring, like many of like Marcus Mumford. I like him doing that. That she had him for a surprise song. Long story short, this is what I meant when I said I liked Evermore more at first because it has actual upbeat songs that aren't just a loping guitar, and the lyrics are fun. It maybe could be more. It could use heavier instrumentation the way that Ivy has, but this one, did Aaron Dessner produce this? Because it to me sounds like Jack Antonoff through and through. But here, let's look. Let's Google. Producer Aaron Dessner, yeah. I still have the fucking Christmas video up. Okay, where did I put it? I think it's catchy, and Folklore and Evermore desperately need those catchy kinds of songs. Yeah, I'll put it there. I may revisit my rankings later, but I'm not going to make a video of it because this is going on for fucking ever. There's just a lot of songs on this one. There's a lot of vaults, collaborations. Marjorie, I understand why it's on the album, but it doesn't do much for me. God, this one's like unrankable. And I don't mean because it's a sad song about death, the way that you can't rank Ronan. Like, you can, I just genuinely don't know what to say about this song. It was good on the tour, but the song itself, I just don't know. Okay, Closure, again, forgettable, slightly annoying. Evermore, the song, very good ending, or very good. The minute details escape me, so it's hard to compare it to these songs that I know inside and out. Maybe here-ish. Right Where You Left Me. This is the song from Evermore that goes into my top 13. It's just so fucking good. The emotions, the hard rockingness of it. What can I say? So here I have, I believe, 12 of my top 13 are filled. No, that's 13. Interesting because there's one song from Midnight's that I would have put in my top 13. So I'll have to rethink this. Okay, it's time to go. Good ending. I feel like this is a true end. I don't know. I like that these albums, because of the bonus tracks, you can have two different endings. I think it's good. Definitely like the better half of Evermore. Very good lyrics. The snaps from the same little breaks in your soul, like those kinds of lines are great. Okay, now we have Renegade, Joker and the Queen, Carolina. I have listened to Renegade, but I cannot remember what it sounds like, so it's going in I forgot that you existed literally because I forgot this song. I just need to listen to it more. That's the thing about her. Her earlier work is catchier and hookier as opposed to her later work where she relies on these kind of mellow melodies. And that's kind of how pop music has gone in general. The trend compared to, let's say, 10, 15 years ago when I first discovered Taylor versus now is like moving away from bombastic hooks and more toward like vibes. And you can see that in her music. Folklore and Evermore and Midnights are like vibes albums, whereas Fearless and Speak Now are like hook albums. And that just makes it not quite as appealing to me. Or it's a different type of songwriting that does not grab me immediately and stick with me. I know it's better than Suburban Legends. Like some of these, even though I don't remember the song clearly, I know that it's better than some of these highly questionable lyrics. Joker and the Queen, I usually like her collaborations with Ed, but again, can't remember it. It's not my favorite collaboration, I know that, because if it were, then I would remember it. And Carolina, this one I do remember better. To me, it's like an Evermore. That's the album that I would put it on if I would put it on an album. The melody, it's not super interesting, but as far as capturing the like Southern Gothic vibe, I think Ticket did a good job. So, but it is like still, it falls into a groove after a while. But all right. And now we're doing Midnights, of which there are many of them, and then I'll be done with this super long video. Lavender Haze, one that I really did not care for at first. When I first heard Midnights, I thought it was one of the weaker songs, but it's gotten a little, as an opener, I appreciate it a little bit more now. So it's not Breakable Head. I think it's not quite that level, but it'll go in maybe like here. Maroon, here we go again with the dress effect, the My Tears Ricochet effect. I know it's a fan favorite. I think it's kind of boring and I don't really get it. It's fine. It sounds good when she does it on the piano because she's done it a bunch of times as a surprise song, but the talk singing, I just don't like it when she talk sings. The verses and the lyrics, they deserve more melodically. Antihero, this is quite a hook. I mean, when I first listened to the album, I heard Lavender Haze and I was like, that's okay. I heard Maroon and I was like, that's better. And then I heard Antihero and I was like, wow, this is a hit. Not a personal favorite, but I can understand it. And I can, when she did that interview where she talked about it's one of the favorite songs she's ever written, I get it. The lyrics are kind of bonkers, but like in a, in a good kind of bonkers. No, it's not going all the way up here, but it's again, it's hard to compare catchy songs to non-catchy songs. Let's put it around there. Foolish One is a catchy song, so Snow on the Beach, underrated. I think people only were mad at it because it didn't have as much Lana Del Rey as they wanted, and I don't listen to Lana Del Rey. I have no opinion. I think the song is pretty. It was the first song that actually leaked. It was the first song that I heard on the album because it leaked like a day before the album did. I like the vibes. I like the imagery and the lyrics. But it is a little slow. It's probably not maybe about there. You're on Your Own, Kid. I think this is going to go in Wonderstruck. I think it's the strongest song on the standard 13 tracks of the album. In this album, I think most of the best songs are 3 a.m. tracks. Its understatedness, the fact that it doesn't have a lot of instrumentation, that works for it. The storytelling, the vulnerability in the lyrics is just wonderful. It's beautiful. I think it's the best track 5 that is not All Too Well. If I were ranking the track 5s, this would be number 2 or 3. Even though it's sad, I like listen to it over and over again. Midnight Rain, another one that everybody seems to love, and I just think the distorted voice is annoying. I think it's overrated. If it were longer, people have done like piano remixes of this where it's just her normal voice and it sounds great. But it's I think it's overproduced. And on the tour it's kind of boring. Other than it only exists to give her a costume change. But other than that, the actual song, people are falling asleep. Question. This is one that was like, I think it's still top half for me. When I first heard it, it was like my favorite on the standard 13 tracks, and it's kind of fallen a little bit in the rankings for me, but I think it's because it's catchy and it has an actual hook. I like it. It's, you can really sing along to it. But I can see why some people think it's cringe. Vigilante shit. Look, this is another one of those Reputation style, not very musical sounding songs, but it's fun. It's hard to rank. I don't skip it. Maybe I put it in nice. Let me think about this. Yes. Bejeweled, really fun production. Like it sounds different than the rest of the album, which is important because that's one of my main criticisms of Midnights and Folklore is that everything sounds the same. And Bejeweled, I could get it right away. I didn't have to listen to it 50 times to remember it. It is kind of annoying though. Okay, next. Labyrinth. I think it's a little bit forgettable. It's one of the weaker tracks on Midnights, but Midnights is pretty consistent. There's nothing on Midnights that's bad. It's just, it kind of blends in there. It's not exciting. Again, maybe a bit overproduced with the low voice, the same voice that's on Midnight Rain. That is kind of, I understand how it creates a mood, but it's not pleasant to listen to. So maybe around here. Karma. It's fun. I don't like it as much as Bejeweled, but it does have some fun production elements going around. I was looking to see the remix is on here. It's fun, but I'm trying to look where I put Lavender Haze. I don't think, see, I don't think it's quite on the level of, it's probably like around here. Yeah. Sweet Nothing, another kind of meh song. Not like that it's bad, it's just not a standout because Midnight's is sort of consistently okay, decent, and has a few standouts. This is not one of them. But I like the production. I think I like it a little better than Labyrinth. Mastermind, again, it's so hard to think about these to rank these. I like it, but I think it's probably better than some of those other songs. But Midnight's, the 3 a.m. tracks, you'll see, I think much more highly of the 3 a.m. tracks. The Great War, this one, now we're getting into the 3 a.m. tracks. This one, excellent lyrics. I think it's one of the stronger, like either top five or if not top five, certainly top half on Midnight's. So I'll put it on. I know some people think it's like overrated and it's not as interesting as people think it is, but I think it's really tight. The metaphors they follow, the lyrics, they follow that thread really well. And just she has an idea and she stuck to it. And Aaron Dessner did a great job with that sort of uncomfortable, sort of quasi electronic y sounding production. So I'll put it melodically. I mean, it does get a little repetitive because it does get a little boring. So maybe around here. Bigger Than the Whole Sky. I know some people don't rank this, but I'm going to rank it because I think, again, it's stronger than a lot of the standard Midnight's tracks. It's for when I first heard it, I was like, wow, this is pretty considering the seriousness of the subject matter of the song.
There's nothing in your music library.
Okay, Siri, that's weird that you would say that. Again, you can see I'm sort of clustering. I'll have two or three songs from the same album together because it's hard to. That's why I don't do those song sorters where it's like it gives you an album and it's like pick the one you like more because I always have a lot of ties. Like on Speak Now when I did the song sorter last, I had like 5 songs all in the number 3 spot or whatever or in the number 2 spot because I couldn't decide. Paris. I think people hate on Paris too much. I think it's really fun. The album needs a more kind of upbeat lighthearted bop like this, and it serves that purpose. So I'm gonna put it maybe around. It kind of has gives similar vibes as the very first night. So high infidelity, an interesting one, not like a best track, but good. Interesting to hear kind of what Aaron Dessner did with it. See, these songs have much more of a hook. Glitch. I know some people love this song and they think it's awesome and sexy. To me, like it's quite boring. It's got cool production, but it's a bit underproduced. The one sexy lyric is like I was supposed to sweat you out, but like the rest of that, besides that, like what is horny about this song? And it has barely any melody to speak of. Like the hook is a lyrical hook. It's not a musical hook. So I'm gonna put it in Forgot That You Existed. Would've, could've, should've. Another song that like the fandom thinks it's a top 10 greatest thing ever written. I don't think it's that good. I mean, it's good by Midnight standards. And I do think reading on the background of it, how like John Mayer's apartment back when they were dating, his apartment had stained glass windows in it because it used to be a church. That makes the all the religious metaphors kind of hit better for me. I didn't think it was super original, but then when I found out about his apartment, it made a little more sense why she chose to use lyrics like that, because like phrases like dance with the devil and whatever are not original, but she did it for a reason. And I do like the sort of dark rock sound of it, so I'm gonna put it maybe around here. Breakable Heaven. Dear reader, this one was a grower. I totally forgot about it when the first few months listening to the album, but I think it's cool as like one of the possible endings. It's good. The bridge is really good now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah. It's different. This, it was supposed to go in my top 13. This is, to me, far and away the best song on Midnights. There's only a couple that even come close. In fact, the first time I listened to Midnights, I was underwhelmed, but then I found at the time, Hits Different was not available on streaming, so I found a bootleg or a leak of Hits Different, and the first 3 seconds of that song to know that it was my favorite, because it's just so much more exciting, and catchy is not quite the right word here, but it's just so much more immediately grabs you more than these other kind of lo-fi songs on Midnights. Like I would love if we have a whole album like this. Like this is could we foreshadowing the rock album that we haven't gotten yet? I don't know. So now I know my problem is my top 13 is now 14 songs, so I'll have to go back and I'll have to go back and figure out which one is going to get the axe. I think Red is going to go. Red gets out of the top 13 just cuz I think it's not as unique lyrically. But the rest of these, yeah, that is my top 13 complete. Then You're on Your Own Kid Strings remix. It's not on streaming, so I've only heard it a couple times. I can't really speak to the differences, but I've said how I feel about You're on Your Own Kid. It's my favorite of the main 13 tracks. Its understatedness works for it, unlike a lot of the other songs on Midnights, which are either underproduced or overproduced. You're on Your Own Kid works just right with strings or without strings, with synths, with piano. It's all good. Sweet Nothing piano remix. I think I like this one a little better than the original. Where did I put Sweet Nothing here? It makes sense to be a piano song, and it gets rid of the slightly annoying kind of beepiness of the original. Snow on the Beach featuring more Lana Del Rey. I find it so funny that this is like that this is even on this tier list. I'll put it above. I think Lana's vocal delivery is really cool. I don't like though the it gets rid of that part at the end that was on the original. I don't like it when remixes cut stuff out, but that's what they have to do. It's like if a song has a great bridge or whatever, or a great outro, they get rid of that to put some guest artist on there, and that doesn't always work. The same thing happened with Teardrops on My Guitar. The pop mix, they got rid of the bridge or that last verse, and I was like, that's one of the best parts. Karma featuring Ice Spice. Look, people hate on this too much. I think there's a hate bandwagon for Ice Spice, but I talked about in my Eras Tour video. I work in the Bronx, and the kids love Ice Spice, and I don't see any problem with that. So I'll put it maybe not as good as the original, but the music video is like trippy in like a fun way. Maybe like here. Difficult to place. I wouldn't put it except I'm trying to, other than these few songs that are exceptions, it's like I'm not even going to rank that. You're Losing Me. I'm not going to rank the Alcott because I just haven't listened to it enough. I don't know if I've listened to parts of it. I haven't listened to it in whole. You're Losing Me is a great, really heart-wrenching. Again, I think it's maybe a little overproduced, but when it came out, and again, we just can't listen to it enough because it's not on streaming, but it's also, this shit is not from the vault, all right? You wrote it like 5, 6 months after the rest of the album. But it's really, appropriately sad. Maybe around here? Yeah. Okay. I'll scroll down slowly here so you can see that is my tier list of all of Taylor Swift songs and collaborations that I feel that I can comment on. Keep getting notifications about battery power or whatnot. But this is a brand new computer, so we are fine. We can handle a page like this. Let me go a little faster. This one, the other tier list, I liked the colorful boxes, but this one you can hopefully see the song titles better. All right, so there you have it. Thank you for anybody who watched these two very long videos, my part one and part two. And I don't expect to be making another YouTube video anytime soon because I have a blog now where I just review whatever album I want. And that's a lot less work for me than editing these videos. So that's in my profile if you want to see that. But I will keep watching. If I see Taylor content that I like, I'll be watching you. So thank you.